Going on YouTube, it's a Theban Gamer here, coming at you with a video on how to get the best settings for Streamlabs OBS for low-end PCs, and this is going to be the Nvidia version of it. So on my system, pretty much I don't really have a newer system. The graphics card I have right now is a 980 Ti, which is still decent, but not really on the high end of recording. So these are going to be the best settings, and many of these settings are actually from Nvidia themselves. So we're just going to go into the settings for Streamlabs OBS. We're going to go into the output, and then we're going to go over to our recording tab. For a recording tab, for your output mode, you're going to want to make sure that you're in the advanced section, just so we can change everything. And just going through everything, for the type, we're going to still want to keep standard. For the recording format, MKV would probably be preferred, just so that if your PC shuts down or you lose power, you can still recover what you recorded. Audio tracks, just choose how many you have. For the encoder, we're going to do the Nvidia NVENC encoder. Even for entry-level Nvidia cards, this is going to be very helpful because there's basically hardware on the card itself that is just there for encoding. So it's going to be a very small performance hit when you record with the NVENC encoder. And this encoder, by the way, goes all the way back to the Nvidia 700 series, the 750 and 750 Ti. So even if you have a little bit of an older card, right, you have a 980 or 970, you can still use this NVENC encoder to record your gameplay. So 960, 970, 980, the whole 1000 series, all those cards can use the NVENC encoder, and I'd recommend it if you have an Nvidia card. If you have AMD, then you're gonna have to use really the CPU, because the AMD encoder is just not as good. With the newer cards, you can use the AMD specific encoder, but really, if you have AMD, you're gonna have to reference my other video for low-end PCs. For the rate control here, you have a couple options. Nvidia themselves recommend CQP. This is a good option if you want really good quality. You can also do CBR, which is constant bitrate, if you want more performance. So we're going to go through CQP first, and then we're going to go back to CBR to see if you want just more performance. A CQ level, you're going to put at 15. This you can adjust depending on if you're, if it's okay with your performance level. CQ, again, this works with my 980 Ti. So, if you have a, 1000 series card, or you're in the 900 series cards, the older cards, right? You're going to be just fine with this, to be honest, like, because it works with the 980 Ti, and it works with, all the newer cards to an even better degree. Keyframe interval, for recordings, you're just going to put 2. 2 also works for streaming as well. Preset, you could do max quality, but I don't recommend to do it because it's a much larger performance hit for not really much gain. So for the preset, you're going to put quality, and then if you need to, you have a 750 Ti, something really old, you can kind of go down the performance and try to do that. So I'm going to leave it at quality. Profile, this doesn't really impact performance, just leave it at high. Look ahead, this one, you can enable it if you have a stronger card, but for the purposes of this video, we're not going to enable it. It does help a little bit with just improving visuals, but we're not going to leave that. Psycho visual tuning, this one you probably should enable, and the reason why is because if you're doing fast twitch gameplay, this allows you to basically kind of record that without having any blockiness in it. So you're going to leave that one there. It's not really a big performance hit. GPU, this is asking just how many GPUs you have. You're just going to put 0, so it takes your main GPU. If you have more than one, I believe you'd put 2 here. But for now, you're just going to put 0. Max B frames, you're going to leave this at 2. That's that for the screen. So let's say we were to do constant bitrate. This is better for performance, in my opinion, because it basically allows you to directly control the quality of your stream. It's a little bit easier on the GPU. For the 980 Ti, this is pretty seamless, to be honest. So CBR, really the bitrate under CBR, this is how you control your quality. There are a couple different options. So basically 6000 bitrate is going to be your 1080p for streaming. So a lower quality 1080p. 12,000 is going to be your true 1080p. and I believe 14 to 15,000 is going to be your 1440p. For the purposes of your video, you would just set it to 12,000. If you're having issues, you can set this as low as 6,000 and still have a pretty okay looking stream, and that works with, again, even the lower tier cards. The 960, 970. You can still set that to the lower tier cards in 2021. Surprisingly, keyframe interval you're just gonna put to 2. Preset you're just gonna put quality, profile high, check psycho visual tuning. 0 for GPU and then 2 for B frames. So that would be for CBR. So, really remember CQP is more for if you want a quality stream, and CBR it really lets you adjust it more if you need to, make up more if you need to make up for performance. So I'm gonna leave it as CQP. My settings look good. We're gonna go on to the video tab. Here you can basically set your resolutions. The base canvas resolution is just your monitor resolution. So whatever it is, you'd be setting this to. Output scale resolution. This is a good one if you want to basically upscale what you're recording, right? So if you're having issues with performance, what you can do is a neat little trick is to set this to 1600 by 900. What that's going to do is that's going to basically use up a lot less resources, and it's going to provide you or basically upscale the picture to 1080p. So after sharpening everything like that, the 16 by 900 will look very similar, not exact, but very similar to 1080p, and I'd highly recommend doing that. Downscale filter for this, you're gonna leave it to Lanczos. If you're using the NVENC encoder, basically this is not going to cause really any frame rate issues or anything like that. It has very minimal impact on performance, but it does sharpen up your picture, especially if you're going to use a lower output resolution. This is going to sharpen it up so that you don't really tell the difference between the 16 by 900, right? Or even if you're having really bad performance problems, you can use 1280 by 720 and then upscale that if you're having really bad problems. So just leave that at Lanczos. FPS value, you're going to want to keep this at 60. Some gamers, there are other options for 30 and 48. You're not really going to be very successful if you're using those because it's just going to make your gameplay look off, and it's going to make it look not as fluid. So those are kind of the settings that are best for the NVENC encoder. If you have a mid to low end Nvidia graphics card, again the NVENC has been around since the 750 Ti, and I have right now a 980 Ti, which is still pretty old. But even with those older Nvidia cards, you can still get away with using NVENC, and it can still help you to record the gameplay you want. So yeah, this is the Thieving Gamer signing off. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.